better let that run for a little while. It's been sitting about a month. Started awful hard, so we're gonna let this run, let the batteries charge up. I've got to get the kernel processor out of it, and we've got to put the short pipe on there. So we've got a little bit of work that we can do on this inside today. So the shop work has started since the field work is done here. So we've got a couple of trucks inside. We'll get working on them while we're working on this chopper here. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do before we get into taking the kernel processor out, we're going to take this panel out that goes underneath the feed roll. Now it's kind of like an corn ear saver or whatever. So we got to get that out of there. We're going to open this up and work on that first before we take the kernel processor out. So this just swings open on a hinge. So we've got that open, and then we've got the knife drum here, and of course we flipped this shear bar over when we started corn silage, and we'll show you what that kind of looks like. It doesn't have a large amount of wear on there, but this edge was somewhat square. It's got a little bit of a rounded edge to it. But what we have to do, there's a panel on the back of here that we have to take off, and then there is the panel that sticks in. It kind of floats down in underneath that bottom feed roll, and then we've got a piece to put back on there. So we'll go ahead and get that apart, scrape this down a little bit. I got to check the sharpening stone. There's a lot of crap on top of there that I've got to blow out of there yet. Looks like the stone is good yet. So we'll go ahead and get this apart and get the parts swapped out. All right, the boys have got the long pipe removed and they've got the short one. On the chopper, I've got a little bit more work to do up front, and we'll get the KP out. We'll step over, we'll check on Project Freightliner here. This is a 1985 Freightliner FLC. Jered, he bought this. This is going to be a project truck that he's going to put together, and he's going to start hauling manure with it. He's got to fix the exhaust on it. He's got to put an oil tank on it for the wet line kit. What do you think? You're going to try to run the dump pump that's on it?
Yeah.
They had a sleeper on there, and they had an ugly piece of metal that went across the back of the cab. He just took that off a little while ago, and he's going to slap a piece of aluminum on there, and he's going to put a custom exhaust kit on it. What else you got planned?
Use
a
it.
runner. A runner.
I hope so.
So what's this got for an engine on it?
It's a 3406B, 4 1/4. I actually think it's 400 because it's water cooled instead of air to air. This has a air to water cooler like the 4620s.
Oh.
On that head instead of air to air, it doesn't have air to air on the front. The air out of the turbo is cooled by coolant instead of, well, air.
Yeah. This come out of Eastern New York. What's this got for a transmission in it?
The 13 speed.
13. It's got just a regular dump pump on it. It's gonna have a marginal amount of oil for the manure tanker. It might work, but they're gonna get this exhaust, there's a system off in there, and yeah, had a hydraulic reservoir that went behind the cab too that was kind of covering that mess there up, but the bottom support on that reservoir was rusted out. And he bought a new tank. He's gonna try to get that on there. Got a pintle hook up on the back. There's the one exhaust pipe off the right hand side. And what was this, the piece that was on the back?
Yeah, they had that piece of metal on there covering the old sleeper hole, and then when it rotted out, instead of fixing it, they just put this over it so you couldn't see it.
Oh,
They just covered up the...
put this piece of little aluminum over the rusted up crap there that was on the back.
I don't know why you would ever put metal on an aluminum cab, but... And then hopefully we'll come back with the exhaust right under, back from the turbo here. We'll either put a muffler under the cab or one in the pipe, and we'll just go up and put an X in it to the frame and
Bang, bang.
use this.
Bang, bang. So this is the start of Project Freightliner. 1985. FLC. Yeah. It's got some kind of a plow frame on it.
Kurt
So-
thinks we should put a winch on it.
Put a big old winch on there.
This thing is fully enclosed. It's actually, looks like it'd probably be pretty strong.
Oh,
You can put a winch on it, and then when I get stuck with the Moss trailer, I can pull a tree out of it.
yeah. We're not really sure what this truck originated from when it was in its glory. It does seem to have some yellow paint underneath this green. So we're not sure if maybe it was a state truck or a county truck or something here.
Right here, it's got a lot of yellow.
Some yellow there.
Yellow right there. A lot of yellow right there.
But we'll jump up inside and we'll show you the cab. It's really not all that primitive in here for being a 1985. I know I've seen some of the Kenworths back in the early 90s that were real primitive looking. And this really isn't that bad. Look at that cloth seat over there. Yeah. So, yeah, air ride passenger seat, air ride driver seat. Yeah. So we'll join back with him here and there as he gets the project going on it here. What is this, a new way air ride or is
No,
it
it's actually
Freightliner?
airliner. They call it, it's Freightliner's thing. They call it airliner.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of somewhat a new way design with the airbags in the back and the torsion bar in between the two airbags.
Heavy rears.
Yeah.
46,000 rears. But yeah, we got to change some fittings around on his wetline kit for it to run the spreader. The spreader runs a little easier than the live floor trailers. You don't need as much oil on a spreader, but just have to see how it goes. There, we're live. All right, so the last thing that we have to do is we have to crank this KP up out of there before we can lift it out of the machine here. There's just a hand crank, and then that KP is rolled in there like this, and it is coming out like that, and then we'll hook the winch on, take it out of this cavity here, and take it to the outside of the chopper. So we'll get this cranked up, And I've got to take the drive belt off of it yet here. I've got the grease line already unhooked, along with there's a wire harness that goes to it as well. And what that does is it mechanically changes the gap of the rolls. Okay, so that is cranked up as far as it needs to go. Now I'm just going to slide in here, take these belts off. Alright, so this is the belt here. There's 2 3-rib belts, and this is what actually runs the KP. Now I've seen this hole in this one for a while now. These belts have 3 seasons on them, and I probably should just throw these out. So I've got 2 spare sets. We could hold on to these, I guess, but next year we should put a new set on. So before we can lift this out, we'll hook the winch up to this part of the KP right here. But before we do that, well, we'll get it hooked up. We've got to take these 2 bolts out right here. So we'll get the winch hooked, take these bolts out, and then we'll join back up with you.
Now I just push top.
Alright, we've got the bolts out. I've got one more mount in here. Alright, now we can lift it up out. I gotta stand up. Oh. Oh, now I think I can start pushing it out. Maybe. Now I can just start bringing her out, Nate. Alright, now we just start letting her down. If you want to grab that panel. I'm going to jump down on the floor here. All right. That's that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so now we'll just roll that cable back up, stow that winch back into its spot, and then that's what it looks like, is where the KP came out. And the hay transition chute is put back into place there. We've got to go and wash this all up here now, and you can kind of see down in here a little bit that channel that is in place is rolled back down in there, and then that was sticking up out of there when that KP was in place. That section right in the center there is the transition chute. All it is a, oh, it's a tubular channel is all, and that's where the hay travels from the cutter head to the blower, which is right up in there. Alright, Tim's got the C5 in here. He's dumping the oil out of it. And he's complaining that he has no heat.
Exactly.
So, he's putting in a couple of thermostats. This is always run cold, so it must have a couple of thermostats that are stuck on it. So he's draining the coolant down a little bit there. And then he's going to slam a couple of thermostats in there.
Looks like this has got to come off here. That square right there.
Yeah.
I can pull that hose off and get at it.
I take that intake hose off.
Well,
You be able to get right in?
I think I can get up over the top.
Alright.
Look down on it from top.
Alright. Get your aluminum?
Yeah.
These guys are getting ready to put the aluminum into place here. What are you, cutting up some steel plate first?
Well, that's for the exhaust.
Oh, for the exhaust. Huh.
Where is that piece of aluminum? I'm gonna have to get rid of my stuff.
Well, this is where we're gonna end this video here, and we'll join back up with you guys again tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Got big plans. Look at that. Got a brand new tank going on. Yeah. Well, that's gonna do it, folks. We will catch you tomorrow, or catch you at the next one. Thanks for watching.